We're going to finish on BBC iPlayer with a new crime drama which arrived on Monday the 15th of July, and the whole series is available on the iPlayer as a box set. It's called The Jetty, and here's a clip.
I'm a detective. I'm basically a human lie detector.
Right, you're always looking for connections, aren't you?
I would say that is a facet of the job, Hitch, yeah.
I do a podcast on crimes against women and girls.
Sounds like this, grab you by the ankles and don't let go.
Missing and abused girls aren't rubbish to be hidden from tourists.
Now this, right up my street, absolutely great. Do you know what? I love Jenna Coleman anyway, and this right from the start has this sort of very sort of chilling feeling about it. I don't know. It's where I suppose where it's set. The kind of the music that goes with it, the whole. I think it's been really well curated. It's just I don't know, it's got some kind of element of star quality, I think, right from the very beginning, and not just because of the cast. So this is it's a drama, but it's a crime. It's crime solving again. So we talk a lot about these things, and it's well trodden ground. So it's quite hard to make anything sort of stand out, I think, to a degree. And this did for me. It's not overcomplicated. It's quite it's a story that just is a journey. Particularly centres around Jenna Coleman, who plays widowed DC Ember Manning, and it's set in this Lancashire lakeside town. So again, quite normal for it to be a small town, hiding a load of secrets. But it's edgy. There's something about it that does sort of keep you on the edge of your seats. I don't think it's that predictable for me, anyway. So, as I say, Jenna Coleman, who plays the part of DC Ember Manning, she is with her young colleague, Hitch, and they're called out to a fire at a boat hut and sailing club that was once owned by Ember's late husband. Now, they are trying to turn this boat hut into a holiday home, and there's been protests everywhere. People don't want it, locals don't want it. And so, first thought is this is an arson attack. And she straight away, on the surface, this is an arson attack. This is just what we need to do. Get on with it. We need to find out who did it. But no, this web of lies, this web of kind of chilling secrets, I suppose, about this town all starts to unfold, and she finds herself very much drawn into a very tangled and quite difficult investigation. And in this investigation, she meets some really interesting people because, well, they've all got issues, I hasten to add, but I think they're cast really, really well. So she comes into contact with this troubled teenager, Miranda Ashby, played by Shannon Watson, and she's part of this very shady local family, and I think she does a really good job of playing this part. Really, she's so authentic, and I don't know, she brings something quite special to it, I think, because she's troubled, but you get a real insight into why someone is as troubled at the point of life that they are. And she also encounters this podcast journalist, Riz Samuel, and she's researching another case about a missing person, and it's to do with two young girls, underage girls, and an older man. As they often do, Ember becomes completely obsessed with helping with this and spotting any potential connections, and it kind of takes over her life, really. And Jenna Coleman, she's got this sort of real calm approach, but it sort of is, for something like this, creates a sort of chilling atmosphere, I think. And she can't stop. Once she's in there, that's it. And I suppose that's the driven police person, isn't it? That is that sort of that drive, that want, that passion. We're not clocking off. We want to find out exactly what's going on. And I don't want to give away too much, and I haven't seen all of it, but she unearths a lot of stuff, and not just about the town, but about herself. And she suddenly starts to question who she can really trust. So it's kind of interwoven, but quite simplistic to follow. From what I've seen so far, I really enjoyed this. And as I say, the people that are cast here, I think there's some real stars here. And they really are authentic in the parts they play. They're really credible. What did you think, Ian?
Well, it's been suggested that this could be the new Happy Valley. And I'll leave you to make up your own minds. But certainly there are similarities, very strong female characters, quite a lot of domestic scenes, a lot of toxic male behaviour, a tight-knit local community. Yeah, Coleman is great in this. Although when it starts, the beginning of episode 1, don't be put off, because it starts with this podcaster. I kind of like, well, what do we have to have a podcaster? But anyway, we start with this podcaster, and then that device that is often used in crime dramas or horror movies of a tiny little flashback, which one character is having some kind of traumatic memory, and you know that as it unfolds you'll see slightly more, and eventually you'll find out what this traumatic memory is. Don't be put off by that. So yes, Jenna Coleman as the slightly strangely named Ember Manning, which is somewhat ironic considering she's investigating an arson attack. She's got her own domestic trauma that she's dealing with, and she lives with her daughter. Then you've also got her mum will make an appearance as well, the brilliant Amelia Bullmore. You've got Matthew McNulty as a friend of Ember's late husband. You've got Arthur Hughes from Shard Lake as a local character. So the dialogue is really convincing, and that is part of what makes it work, because the way she interacts with her daughter just seems, and with her daughter's friends, seems very naturalistic and believable, and funny as well, quite often quite funny. There's a kind of, quite a sort of sexist group of guys in the local community, and the way she kind of negotiates that, and the fact that they've all known each other all their lives, so that the way that they deal with her, even though she's a policewoman, is coloured by the fact that they knew her when she was a kid, and lots of sort of not microaggressions and quite blatant sort of sexist comments that she has to encounter. And then you have this subplot about these two very different schoolgirls. One is like a real rebel, and the other is quite straight-laced, but sort of fascinated by this very delinquent school pal who kind of becomes her best friend. But you kind of think, this is not going to end well. Anyway, all these threads will be connected together. And I kind of like the fact that, so with the arson attack, there's this sort of undercurrent of, the issue in a lot of local communities, which is like people buying second homes and locals being priced out. So there's this kind of negative attitude towards the person who's developing the boathouse, and which Ember's late husband used to run. And the police aren't really going to bother investigating the arson, because they just think it's, it could be an insurance job, who knows. So there's a lot about it to like, and Coleman, her history is going to connect with one of these unfolding plots. I won't say more than that. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Coleman is great, terrific cast, and lots of interesting threads that are going to hopefully knit together. So yeah, thoroughly recommended.